Ooh. All right, we're all recording stars now. Hey, Chris. All right, why don't we go around the
Greetings.
circle and say who we are and kind of why we're here, and then we'll open. Go, we'll start all the way over there with you.
So great.
Tell me what you could be seeing because I can't.
My name is Grace. I am roommates with Jade, who you guys will meet in a second. We live over in Camp Verde on 8 acres of land. I've actually partnered with Gardens for Humanity, that's based in Sedona. And what we're looking to do is create a community garden where we can grow produce for the community and have community dinners on our land, and then incorporate environmental education, which is my background. Um, and Gardens for Humanity is going to help us do that, like the educational aspect of it. And we're bringing in a couple different Indigenous speakers. Specifically, I've been talking with Chase Iron Eyes, who's Lakota. And I'm looking to just get some funding for him so we can pay him for his time, but we start building in
I
a
know
couple
Chase.
weeks. Do you really?
Sure, we were at Standing Rock together.
No way. Okay, that's very
We'll go there later.
okay. But yeah, that's me.
Hi, I'm Sally, and I have a property probably a mile from them on the same road, 2 acres, that I've been trying to figure out what to do with, and it's taken on a couple different forms over the years. And at this point in time, we have a greenhouse coming in and a couple people, nomadic builders, that have been working on it. I'm also a freedom cell for the Greater Reset out of Texas. That's a tribe of like 30 to 50,000 that are building communities, kind of solution-oriented pods of 8. And my thing is I want to find out how I can collaborate with others or maybe put my land into a nonprofit in addition to looking at a bigger property like Charlie's discussed, buying a piece of land together. How can I take my land and donate it or put it into a nonprofit? I have people that want to donate funds, but I'm not a nonprofit right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to designate and structure my land. I'm in R2, so it's commercial and residential. So we can do a little bit of manufacturing there, and it's very close to the highway as well. So I want to talk about how to collaborate with others and partner with others.
Hi,
There you go.
I'm Jade, Grace's housemate, and yeah, I mean, she already shared, but essentially just wanting to, like, as soon as we moved into that place and got the land, we felt like we were meant to do stuff in community, gather with community there, be involved in the community. We want to have people come and teach workshops and do ceremony on the land, whatever we can do. And yeah, and I kept running into Jim, and it just felt very clear that, like, yeah, we were meant to collect something wants to happen, and we're just kind of like, all right, let's do it and see what unfolds. But yeah,
Cool.
I guess that's
Okay. Jim Graywolf. I'm here in Lake Montezuma, so I'm probably 10 miles from where these guys are. I'm on about 3/4 of an acre. So this site is a sacred site. It's for ceremony. It's for teaching. Part of my background is also environmental ed at the K-12 level and at university level. And I've run a lot of nonprofits. So we have a nonprofit we bring on the table here. Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother, sodom.org. Chris is also on the board when we get to him. We are global in our reach. We do a lot of online things. This place here is the first physical sanctuary that I've been waiting for a number of years. So our thing is combining the teachings of our ancestors, all the indigenous work, with sustainable, sensible science, and with the planet itself, listening to the planet and doing what that says. Those are the three pieces we combine as we do our work. And we teach and we do ceremony and we welcome others. I have a lot of indigenous connections. Adam Yellowbird will be here, I hope, at some point. He's on Indian time. Adam's been all over Central and South America working on similar things. So I really want to hear his input. And I have done multi-layered collaborative efforts before. And we have a lot of good parts here for that. We really do. In Colorado, we did a bunch. I was with the university, that helped. But we can get those connections here too if we wanted. And as we met the first time, I always saw in my vision, I saw 100 of the sanctuaries, which could all be independent, connected together to do this work. What I didn't realize it's I think multiple properties right here in this area as one demonstration case. So you've already heard the differences here. And then when we get to Charlie and he can talk about the big piece of property, we've got a lot of land covered, a lot of different things covered, not land physically, as we talk. So that's what I'm waiting to hear more. So you guys online, let's see who's there. Evan, Chris.
Yeah, I'm here. Charlie invited me. Just seeing what you guys are about and interested in looking at the properties and possibly investing and helping.
Great. I like that. Short and sweet. I like you, Evan.
Hi, Evan.
Hello.
Go ahead. Somebody else.
Great.
Dick.
I'm Charlie, and I think that like my main what I want to do is create like a template and definitely have all these other adjoining beautiful properties that are part of it, and they're all going to work together. But I think like ideally you really want to have a minimum of 5 to 10 families working in harmony on the land, Anastasia style, 2.5 acres per land. And then the Dragon's Head property, it's the 314 acres. It's only usable about 35. So it's only 10 to 15 families. So it'll still be a small spot, but it's perfect for land preservation because it has the cliff dwellings, it has the 1.5 miles of the Wet Beaver Creek, it has an epic, like super steep like canyon that's unbelievable that then goes to like a couple 100 acres of like high altitude desert. It's just a beautiful, super incredible, magical place. And I think it looks ideal to do what we want to do and to create the template and to have enough families to really show people that it is doable, it's cool, and it's in the right location, and it looks really neat. And you can go on Realtor and look at it, and I'm happy to send a link to anybody. But that's
Thank
about it.
you.
Yep.
Chris.
Well, that leaves only me. I'm Christopher. I'm currently in New Zealand, and all going well, I'll be over in the US in March. I'm part of SOTM with Jim. I'm one of the board members. Jim and I have a habit of working together, traveling together, doing talks together. I tend to do very deep dive stuff into aspects of consciousness. I've been able to talk to various aspects of nature since I was a child, so I share techniques in helping people actually get in touch with nature, experience her as a living being, as opposed to a thought or a concept. There is ways of actually physically listening to her and realizing she is a conscious being in herself. I find it far better to help people get in touch with it than to talk about it. So I won't go into it in too much detail. So that's part of me, and I'm interested in, establishing bases with SOTM, not just in the US, but worldwide. So yeah, we're just coming in with that angle. It's a pleasure to meet you all, and thank you very much.
Thanks. Glad you're here, Chris. You bring in the global piece of it. I'll just do a quickie on our nonprofit. We are global. We have people around the planet. Some are on the board. We have Chris down there. We've got Eliane is in India. Who else is global at the moment? Kat's up in Alaska. I don't know how we consider that, but so we have other things going on. We've always had that piece, and that's part of what we bring as well. It's just changed a lot. And, you know, Sally, you were saying just a little while ago, suddenly it seems like the timing is right. And I've been waiting for that for a while. And I feel that too. And I see people coming. Like Jade here, who, you know, we bounced into each other twice in an identical way. It's strange, but that just doesn't happen. So I'm paying real attention to who shows up right now. And I think we've got the good mix. I think the big piece of land is amazing. It also opens other opportunities, I believe. When I lived here before, we started a land trust. After I left, they decided to close it up because no one really wanted to take the lead. We could reopen that if that helps us too. Because that big piece, Charlie, since we can only use a fairly small piece of it, is just ideal to preserve. And I was talking to a couple of local families the other day, and they're like, wow, would you actually put it into some kind of land trust? I don't know, but it's an option. So I think there's a whole bunch of opportunities and options here. And I'll shut up. And Charlie, go ahead.
I'm moving slow.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that big property definitely. And then I think that the whole church, not that we're gonna have like a church, but the church of nature, something like that, it seems to be that's a very good option is to establish a church and then also do a land trust. I don't know if that's a good, that seems like to be a pretty viable option. How does
I
that
think
sound?
we could, all the paperwork is still, I'm sure, on file with the government. I have a feeling we could probably reactivate if they still like the idea, and they probably would.
And that's for the land trust?
Yeah, that was the land trust.
That's, yeah. And then that's what the donors, they want their money to, that's what they want, essentially. And then,
Yeah, well, yeah,
and then we would just need the church for the little, the part that the community would be living in.
that would have to be a separate nonprofit.
That would be a separate,
Yeah,
exactly.
because ours is an educational.
Right. We can, but we could pick up the whole property first
Oh, yeah. Oh,
with
yeah.
the trust. So
Absolutely.
so it's not a huge rush to gotta go to get the church status.
No.
That's cool.
And we can see when Adam gets here, assuming he makes it. I don't know how much Indian time he's on. But he is part of the Native American church. And they might possibly support us too.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be great.
Yeah, so
Yeah, definitely.
we can ask. He's one of the ones that began it years ago. So
Cool.
he knows how it works. Okay.
Just a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
What's the advantage of having a church over an educational organization?
I don't think
Take-
there's an advantage per se, but they're
Yeah.
both different. So, I mean, there might be depending on who's going to fund things. When I ran Habitat for Humanity, we had both types set up because a lot of churches supported that work. And so we had the religion piece set up. But then we had a regular nonprofit as well because all the builders, that wasn't their thing.
Thank you for that.
Uh-huh. Okay,
So
cool. That's a good idea. More thoughts. Can I just share something that I always share when I do programs? And it's just coming to me here. Let's all of us try to get out of our heads as much as we can, get into our hearts. This is a feeling thing right now. And then our heads can figure out how to do it.
Just asking more questions. What is everybody's goal that they would like to see come out of having this land? It sounds like we've all sort of said it, but I'd like to see if we've got more refined ideas, details.
I think securing the future for the seventh generation, for our great grandkids, and creating a free, natural template to share so that our great grandchildren have that abundance and love and that future. I feel like that's what it's all about. It's all about the kids.
In a kid. I suppose.
Yeah.
Good,
Do you
good.
mind, do you mind if I play sort of pointed advocate at the other side? I've been hearing that since the 60s, multiple organizations and things, and we're still in the same place. What makes it happen, and what do we bring to the table that changes the separate mindset that this society has been stuck in by separation and hierarchy, which will destroy virtually everything that they try and do, because it's not built on the living, energetic foundations of nature. So how do we bring those principles of nature into reality to achieve what you're talking about, Charlie?
I think the essential element is for every family to have their 2.5 acre space of love that's their self-sustainable magic homestead that they own, they love. That's their space for their future and their family, and they're caretaking for that and they're passing it on. And that's the solid foundation that then goes in to the community. So the hierarchy doesn't, it's not really there. It's you and your family on your space, and you're taking care of your magic and your beautiful gardens and all your things. And that's what it's all about. But you're doing that together, and you have help, and you have your friends there with you helping you. And I think that's where the hierarchical problems are dissolved, which is the Anastasia strategy of doing the communities, which I think is really successful. And there's over 600 in Russia that are going strong, and they're doing a good job, and they don't have the hierarchical problems, and they're super magical. Like, it's the stories that you hear coming out of these spaces are incredible. Everybody's telepathic schools. It's incredible. And it's all documented and real, and we can prove all that.
Cool. Bring some here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That education side I see is vitally important for that. Educating outside what's considered standard curriculum. How do we teach heart-based operation? How do we teach community? And, we all think we've learned it, but we've still learned it from a hierarchical position. And it's pretty hard to get out of it. So it's finding that way to transition from the current society to what I call it, more community-based, earth-based. Because once again, for me, they're actually the principles of life. And when we follow those, they naturally bring us home.
So I'll take a bite out of that too, Chris, since I'm the other one was here long enough to remember 60s. It's changed, I think, dramatically since then. There were not many of us around then. We were the freaks. We were the ones told to sit down, shut up, do our work hard, make a lot of money, and all that crap that we all bought into. We were the ones who tried back then to make things happen. I was a little kid when I marched with Dr. King. I was a little bit older when I protested Vietnam, and then it all died out. Timing wasn't right. Even 10 years ago, when we restarted some of these things, it still wasn't right. And I don't know who said it here. Did you say it? The timing feels right now. I think we all felt it. I guess Sally did. Now it's a different feel. And there's even people like us, Chris, who our hair's a lot whiter now, but we're learning every day. We can't go in with too rigid a plan set. We have to go in and work with our planet. And now it's really timely because we see what's happening. We're awake. We see if we don't do something soon, our kids and our great grandkids that Charlie's talking about, they're going to have a shit life if they have one. And so we have to change it now. And we also see we've been lied to for as long as people have walked, really. There's always been that few at the top who've taken advantage of the situation, and they've done it well. They're still doing it well. But I think we now can come together globally. How exactly? I don't know. That's a whole nother batch of discussion some of us are in. But I see it coming. I feel it coming now.
And it's interesting for those who haven't had the conversation with Jim. Jim and I are finding we're getting contacts and meeting people organically. It's just happening. We're not directing this. When I was over there last time, we had a huge lesson on letting go of right brain.
This might be a mistake.
What's that, Jim?
Go ahead. I'm going to let the other dogs go nuts in there.
Yep. We've been trying to find grounds to hold our Waves of Wisdom meeting. Jim had been at it for several weeks before I got over there. I arrived, I pitched in and helped. On day 3 of things not happening, meetings would be cancelled at the last minute. Somebody will double book or they've been called out of the office. Nothing we did worked until we pulled over the side of the road and Jim said, we're coming from our heads and this isn't work. We're trying to make things happen. We both acknowledged it and sat down and talked about how we've got to come from the heart. Within 20 minutes of having that conversation, after we acknowledged we've got to come from the heart and talking about doing it, we had 2 phone calls offering us ground within 20 minutes. That to me was a huge affirmation. Everything we've tried since then, when we come from our hearts, it works, which is feeling based. That's the feminine quality. And it's learning to have our masculine doing side come from our feelings, not from our thoughts and thinking, because it doesn't work. Anything we tried from there didn't work.
Next.
We,
Down.
we've been educated in a very abrupt, definite manner to, work from the heart. And the mother's ruling this, not us. We try and plan, even the smallest thing doesn't work. Feel it every single way. Before I arrived over there last time, I was out in the forest and the mother said very clearly, it's time to operate in her guidance, not ours. I didn't realize how much she was going to bring that lesson through, though, but she did. And it's been with us ever since. And we're still working with it and we're still learning. But feeling based has a more effective operation. That's starting to bring the male and female energies in balance within ourselves as men. The masculine is overruled for too long. The feminine side of us didn't get heard and didn't get included in the doing. And this is what we're both learning and we talk about often, that feminine feeling side and doing from that. So,
Can
yeah,
I?
Please jump in. Okay, we're shifting.
I'm just feeling such resonance with what you're speaking, and that is exactly how I've been living my life in the last year, and exactly how I ended up in this house and on this land. And I got that reminder again recently of there's nothing to do, there's nothing you need to figure out. it's actually more slowing down and attuning to myself and the earth and that frequency and listening and then
Yeah.
taking action like when it's just like when you know, because when you're in that feeling state, then you know it's just this like this knowing, this feeling, this, and it's more subtle, and that is the feminine way. And what I hear you saying is like, if we're going to create something different, we need to do it in a different way, because it has been the masculine energy of like doing and figuring out and logical thinking versus like attuning to like our inner essence and to the earth and listening in a deep way and being guided in that way. And what I'm understanding is like most of us, if not all of us, like live from that place.
Yep.
And that's what's unique. And that's why like we're coming together and it's happening right now. Anyways, that just had to
Nice.
because I was
I
like,
think,
wow, I feel
Yeah.
so like this is exactly what I've been being told, and how to go about it in myself and with everything
yep,
in my life. And I even quit my job this morning because because that's exactly I'm being guided, and it was like, okay, it's time. And I'm like, all right, I'm trusting that and trusting, you know, without needing to know or understand. But that feeling into it and really believing in it, believing in that feeling. And that also reminds me, for some reason, I feel like it needs to be spoken. But in the last year, as I've been attuning to that, I remember hearing, I got a download that was like, we need more heart warriors, more like people living from the heart and on that path. And so yeah, I'm excited that I'm here.
if
So
Thank you for
everybody,
that.
as the
yeah,
sole man in this part of the meeting, yeah, I mean, that is just so absolutely correct. I've been working with some men's groups now, and Chris and I are starting with another one. Men are created to fix things. That's a primary goal of men, is you need to fix things. This is beyond being able to be fixed. We have to create something new. That's the feminine aspect. And we've got to follow that now, whether it's human women, whether it's Mother Earth, that's all feminine energy. And I think that's a good goal. It's a goal we have to do. And it's really difficult. We've got to really work hard with more men to get them into that space. They're afraid,
yeah,
it scares them.
yeah, it's different.
It is.
If we have a moment of silence, if anyone or everyone is interested, I can do a very quick exercise that drops us into both listening and hearing the mother. If everybody is interested.
Sure.
Okay.
Charlie?
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was really good, Chris. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was perfect. Went well. I love that. Okay. Usually I ask people, are you breathing? I'm not going to ask the other question because it looks like most of you are getting in there anyway. So what we do is we feel the breath. We feel the rhythm of the breath, that natural flow of the breath. We're just breathing in time with it. We're not trying to breathe the perfect breath or anything. We're just being with it how it naturally is. That natural rhythm of the breath. We drop into it, we inhabit this rhythm. And as we breathe in time with it, we notice its nature. We notice how we perceive, how we sense with this first rhythm of the breath. Now I want you to reach underneath this first rhythm, feel if there's an even deeper rhythm our body calls us to breathe at. And what we do is we drop through that first rhythm into the second rhythm of the breath. As we drop through, we inhabit the space. We explore the space. the second rhythm of the breath. Feeling what it's like to be in time in the space of the second rhythm of the breath, the depth of it. How far does it go? If we explore the space, can we find an edge? Is the answer yes, we can, or is the answer no, we can't? What's it like to be in this space, just noticing the space, the senses that we notice we're using come naturally to us in this space, the perceptions that naturally come to us in this space. Now, as we're breathing and noticing the space, the sensations and perceptions of it, we reach below this and feel there's an even deeper rhythm of the breath, third rhythm of the breath. And we drop into this third rhythm of the breath. We notice the vastness of it. This one we really explore. Can we find an edge of any form? Give you a hint, it's a trick question. As we explore this space, feel what it's like. Notice what we sense in this space. What perceptions and sensations come to our attention. Notice what we're invited to step into as we immerse ourselves in this third rhythm of the breath, this deepest rhythm of the breath. Breathing into it, feeling its vastness, the length and breadth of the breath. Notice how far it takes us. And from this space, we come back to the second rhythm of the breath. And as we come into the second rhythm of the breath, I want you to reach out and feel the Mother Earth and feel if she has her own rhythm, her own breath. And as we reach into her, any rhythm we feel with her, we match it. We breathe in time with her breath, her energy, drop into it and find out. Find if we find a consciousness there, a living consciousness, and step into it. Introduce yourself. Acknowledge her consciousness. She may not talk in words, more whole concepts. If she uses words, that's all right. Notice how we sense communication with her. That sense of community, of belonging, of presence. Notice the life and vitality if there is any that we experience in this space. Notice how we experience the mother. Just quietly and gently coming back to the first rhythm of the breath, back to where we are in this room, who we're with, who we're surrounded by. Just quietly and gently coming back in your own time, back to your own body, your own awareness, being aware of who you are, where you are, who you're with, and what we're doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
It's cool.
Yeah,
I hope it helps.
it does. That's good.
That was awesome.
Yeah, you shut my brain down some good.
I'm
And
gonna.
so I'm seeing this heartfelt picture as you were doing that, and here's an interesting little thing that the men are on the computer there, the women are here, and as usual, I'm a bridge. I don't know why. Maybe I let too many people walk over me. I don't know. So, yeah, let's shift a little bit and think about, I think now, okay, what would this look like and how would we move ahead? And I think Sally's done some research, haven't you? A little bit on funding or not?
Well, no, I have a question about
Go ahead.
funding as far as what is the most flexible way to structure a nonprofit where you have, the versatility with the changes, pivot step. I just feel like every 3 to 6 months, there's kind of a new wave. And that's been my difficulty is my original vision 20 years ago is different from 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And so I have people that want to donate money and I can get funding.
Mhm.
And I have the feminine flow part down. Spent a life doing that. I need the help with once you have that, how do you implement? Hi, Faith. How do you implement the strategy and the structure to be most beneficial, like in conjoining the different properties or being outside of Arizona, being international?
Mhm.
How do we designate the funds and set up the business structure side of things? The flow
I
part we
don't-
got.
Yeah. I think based on the way I've done these things before too, we can handle it with the one nonprofit, or we could have multiple nonprofits. That would be up to us. Each of the properties would run itself, but we'd have to report back. Because if you have somebody funding, they're gonna want to hear, okay, how are you dividing this up? If we go ahead and put in grant proposals now, so these two are working on their piece of property, Sally's working on hers, I'm working here, then there's this big piece. And then there's a couple others right here in the area that are interested. We'd have to have that spelled out in the grant. And somebody would have to be reporting. I think the first thing we do is get a couple of employees, get a couple staff people. And at least one of those would be the one who would coordinate these pieces and report back to the funders. Because you would absolutely have to do that. Nobody's going to give money and then walk away. They want to hear what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And I think we look for a couple of other partners. I mean, some of us know some of the Havasupai people here. And I think some of that, they will partner with us as well. And if we can get into some of the local colleges, we don't have many, but we've got up in Flagstaff, that would be a good partner as well on the educational way. So we can keep expanding that. We've got, as Chris was talking, I'm reminded we've got Chalice Markham is down in New Zealand, and she's actually for the last 2 years been creating a place, and she's come a long way. And there's others. There's our friend Jose Munoz out in California, who's a Mayan timekeeper, and he's got a similar piece of property, Charlie. I think there's 4 or 5 houses on it, and it's like 40 acres. I think it's 40 acres. And he wants to partner up. So there's a bunch of them out there. We would just have to, I
Great.
think with organizations outside of our area, they'd have to run their own. If funding came in, each partner would get their piece of it. It would go direct, I think. I don't think we'd ever want to try to justify what the hell we were doing globally. I don't know how we do it.
Yeah, you just keep it in Northern Arizona. Have the Northern Arizona chapter.
Yes, that's right. That's what I see too. Yep.
Makes sense.
Or maybe regionally, but that's about as far as it would go.
So really, the good next step is having a couple staff members that are able to coordinate. That would be super crucial.
It would sure help, and that, I'll help with grant writing a lot because I'm going to do it for ours too. And some of you all can help. We can put some grant writing together. But it'd be nice to have a third person that could focus on grant writing and a staff person that could focus on overall management. If we started with those two, we'd be in pretty good shape. I think any of us just listening to us now, any of us could go out there and talk about this from their heart. We could sell this to people.
Oh, absolutely.
We all like the cute baby.
I know. That's what I was just
Such a
saying.
cute baby.
She's an important part of the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good reminder, Thea.
Is it Freya?
Yeah,
Freya,
that's right,
okay.
that's right.
They,
Maybe the most important part of the meeting.
Most
Yeah.
important.
And then we got dogs all over here too, so we gotta remember all the creatures.
Lots
are
of
part
critters.
Yep. It ain't just about us two-leggeds, that's been our mistake all along.
Totally, and I'm wholeheartedly I'm on board with that, Jim.
I would like to add something,
Good.
just to throw this out there. What we're kind of wanting to do on the property is we're gonna start a YouTube channel and bring in speakers,
Sweet.
She's
to
really good at that.
share,
Yeah.
as I've been contacting people, come to us and share the wisdom of your people. And that way we can put it on a platform where there will be one spot where everybody can go to see all these different teachers speak about where they're from, whether it's how they tend to the land, the ways that their people have tended to the earth, or if it's just teachers. I would love Sean Sherman, who's a sous chef. I've followed him for years, and I would love to have him come and make a dinner on the property, which is what the household that, Jade and I live with, we've all talked about community dinners. So growing the food, getting the community involved in growing the food, teaching the kids how to grow the food, harvest together, cook meals together, and then that wisdom is then passed down. And like we talked about earlier, like we're leaving that to the generation who will inherit the earth after we are gone. And so going back to my first thought, so having this YouTube channel where we can bring people on, I would like to offer that up to you guys too. And that is a way that we can partner and connect, and come in and share what you feel called to. But ultimately it's a space where utilizing this era of technology in this age of Aquarius, and using it in a positive way to push forward ways of being, ways of teaching, ways of tending to the earth that haven't truly been talked about, and or maybe it has but not truly been seen in the ways that it should be, in the ways that the earth needs and that our species needs. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. I would love to continue holding that and see what we can create together.
And what I saw is if there's a growing with the YouTube channel, there's more opportunity for like calling in support and funding as well. People are like, excited about what they're seeing, and they're, not here physically, but they're like, yes, I want to be a part of that. And Gracie is really good with all of that. She already has had like major followings and like has her social media plugins. Like I've walked around with her and people are like, I follow you on, so it's like, that is an aspect that,
I have a logistical question.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that's come up in the last year is the living arrangement situation where it's not legal to live in RVs, but many of our friends are nomadic builders. They're temporary residents for 3 to 6 months. So we're all in good flow and want to be together, but we logistically have had an issue with people rolling into town in their rigs and where to stay. And the code enforcers are really enforcing that right now in Rimrock and Camp Verde. They drive around, and the punishments are pretty steep if you don't follow. So I have 2 people on my land right now that are technically under the radar, but it is a legitimate piece because we have folks from other parts of the country that want to come here right now, and we can't fully house them. So I'd love to work with people and come up with some creative solutions or a network.
Yeah. That's a tricky one. We've had a number of people here, but they come and stay in the house so we don't get running into the fact that their rigs are here.
Yeah, we've been told we're not allowed to have people stay on the land.
Okay.
So it's the
I've
same.
seen a cool idea that somebody executed in Utah where they took like RVs, but like created them as like Airbnb situations, like that were more permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some loophole there. And it might make more sense to maybe think about using RVs and making a place that's like kind of RV friendly, but yet also with these other ideas integrated.
Yeah, I'm zoned for RVs. I could do it on my land.
I
And
think there's a,
they legally can't stop us from doing Airbnbs anywhere in the state.
Mm.
yeah, so like you could, we could, there's a dynamic that we could build like around that without
Right.
kind of reinventing the wheel, I think. And then like we can do add-ons around to shore up any kind of infrastructure needs.
So I'm
Kind
gonna,
of idea.
yeah, I'm gonna drag us back a little bit because we went
Sure.
one course onto another. I want to go back to this media stuff because I think that's more critical right now if we're going to get the word out there. And Chris and I are both smiling as you were talking because I've had a lot of YouTube experience, especially doing Standing Rock, but even before that. And our nonprofit has a YouTube channel. We've got like 1,000 people signed up, and we have, I don't know, about 1,000 videos on there. And we're doing similar to what you're talking about. Remember, we had Ryan in at the last meeting. Ryan wants to help us to record all these people, so we have them all. The old farts like me before we're gone. So because you're the ones we're going to pass it to, and then it's up to you for the next steps. So yeah, I think that's a really important part, and funders love that stuff. You're absolutely right. And we're good at talking. We have great connections. I have zero technology stuff. Well, not quite zero. I can turn on the computer. And
This.
yes, I can do this. So yeah, I mean, we can definitely connect on those things. And we can get the people here for sure. Who we'd want to hear from. And go out there. I want our folks to be able to go out there too and remain nomads part-time. Because some of these people will not come. You have to go to them. And some of them it's taken years to even have that kind of permission. But it's there and it should be captured. We've lost way too many elders in the last few years, way too many. And some of them had knowledge. I know a little of it because they shared with me, but not enough to carry it forward. And that's a huge loss, especially now, trying to connect, not trying, connecting back with the earth and with each other. They had made a lot of the mistakes and they were willing to share it. So I think it's critical we do that work. And that's when we can definitely do all together. I think that's nothing to stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some right here. We have some people. We have Sakina up in Sedona. So we got Ryan coming back. He's going to record her. Sakina's like 95. So she's been through it. Sakina Blue Star. And there's others. So that's a project we can do. And we can show potential funders, hey, look what we've done. I think we're already all doing things. That's neat. That's much easier to sell than, I think I said this in the first meeting, but it bears repeating. When you're going out looking for funds, if you go and you say, look at what we've already done with virtually no funding, and imagine what we can do if we had funding, versus, oh, look, we have a great idea, give us money and we'll try. It's two very different approaches. And I've been successful doing that. A lot of people have. So let's keep doing it. And the things we can do together, like the media stuff, makes total sense. We have a sweat lodge here. Christina's got a sweat lodge down in her place. She has Red Room Lodge for the women. So we've got all kinds of ceremonial things too we can do.
I also want to add, I build websites. I don't know if that would help for us to have.
Oh, wow.
I have a website right now. I'm a chef too, and I've spent years creating a website, and that gave me experience for something. So if we need, I wonder if a simple website that explains perhaps all that we're like the main vision of what we're doing, and then even have an option where it breaks off and you can click on the different properties, even with a link to the different YouTube videos, the different teachings, just like a place where somebody
Yeah.
can go to where all of our stuff is. I'm just thinking out loud here, but it's not difficult. It is quite simple to go out and make a domain, and with the type of, what am I trying to say? It's easy to build a website, and I can help do that if needed.
For some of us.
I nominate, yeah, right.
Which is okay.
I nominate you.
Yeah, fair. That's good.
Yeah. Can I ask your name again? I'm great at forgetting names. So,
Grace, but I love being called Gracie. That's my nickname.
okay, Gracie. I've put a link in the chat column of a local personality here. Have just put their web page out. It's very new, so they're still adjusting it. But what they're talking about is what you were looking for and that first conversation. They're working with the land they have for quite a number of years. The community is involved in various ways. She has community activities on her land, worth having a good look at. And she has a huge depth of knowledge on plants, herbs, healing with those things. And she also has a communication connection with the land. She's worth you contacting if you're looking for that sort of stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there are others, but that's one that I've got the link to straight away. So Jim, grab that link off the chat and
Okay,
yeah.
I will. I'm
Pass it
actually-
over.
So as we're saying this, there's another huge benefit. We don't have those skills. We've been desperate for somebody to help with our website. We lost our elaborate one. No reason to go into that story, but if somebody would take that on, you have those skills, Gracie. I can help with fundraising, so I don't have to waste time doing stuff I can't do anyway. We can divvy things up and be more effective.
Yes.
I really like that. Boy, does that make sense. Or I can go up on the res and talk to everybody and say, okay, who wants to come down? And they can stay here when they come down. We always have some room. This is feeling good.
Yeah. And I like the idea of having a website that connects all the other
Oh,
websites.
yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah. So a central hub is what is needed.
Yeah.
There's so many people talking about community, but they're all starting out their own websites and doing their own projects. Jim and I, from what I've seen so far, are one of the few that's working to bring people
Yeah,
together
come on,
because we see this community
Oh,
as crucial. Until we learn to work in community, we're going to be dividing by all trying to run our own projects. But we look at how can I help you? That's my first question. How can I benefit you?
Mhm.
What assistance do my skills have that would be useful for you? So I'll be landing over there, all going well, not that far away. Those are the questions we have.
Boy,
And
what
it's
a
not
nice
right.
thing. I'm sorry, go ahead. Thought you were done, Chris.
Yeah, no, talking stick to you, Jim.
What a great thing to be able to sell to potential funders too. Wow, go take a look at our collective website and it spiders out to all kinds of things. That's really, I like that model. That'd be really effective. I know it would. No one's doing that I'm aware of. I'll have to go look, but I don't think anyone is.
I haven't seen it yet.
No.
We had the idea of it, but we didn't have the technical
Yeah,
expertise. I know where the power button is now.
And we have this guy, Ryan. Ryan is Lakota and he's German. He's Amish and Lakota. Interesting mix. But he's going to work with us to be out there. He's out there now and recording people out there. So he could do that too and then send it back and then you grab it and then boom, we've got it.
Yeah. And I don't know if this helps in any way. I've had a podcast the past couple of years I work with MUFON in Sedona, which is the Mutual UFO Network for my UFO fans out there. But I also have the podcast experience. I have the mics. So we could even bring in people and have a designated spot where we do a whole podcast with people, and it wouldn't just be me and Jade that posted on our YouTube. Other people could also post it to their accounts as well. It's just like I would just share the audio with you. So there's multiple ways to share this information and make it, it's not just me and Jade, it's all of us actively sharing this together. Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. But so we could do podcasts, YouTube, and then all of that could be shared even on our collective website too. So we'll see.
We also wanted to we wanted to focus the template on newbies and folks that really don't have the experience, and maybe they're not Indigenous, and try to make it inspiring for people, and invite the new people that want to do a simple template near town, and maybe they don't want to go down to the river with 300 acres. Maybe they want to do something more simple. That, and the other piece for us, of course, is the educational piece, focusing on the children, since some of us are homeschooling and versions of that. And there's a lot of funding. I've been approached by Kiwanis and also Rotary Club of Sedona randomly. They said, you work with kids and you work with education, we want to give you money. And I didn't have the nonprofit status to get the money. So they said, let them know. But that's the other piece that we want to do with the ESA and keep that network going. So those two focal points.
I had a radio show for 3 years with my Chief Two Dog, which I stopped doing because I got tired of having to handle it all.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but to come and be able to do something,
That's great. Yeah, good timing.
And going back to what you were saying, part of what Jade and I are trying to create on our property is how can we create a garden with nothing? So how can we, build garden beds out of wooden pallets that nobody's using? How can we build a chicken shed out of garbage? And have that be a part of our YouTube, talk about it on the podcast, and show people how that they could do that too. And it's a matter of like, you don't need to have all of this knowledge already to do these things.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, I think you
out there
could just
for
turn
you.
this into an app, where people can just buy direct eventually, from the farm,
Yeah.
right? From like the co-op or whatever. Like, yeah, I think this all makes a lot of sense. I like it. Sounds good.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're definitely gonna have a brick and mortar, legit, like grocery store members only co-op.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Like we need it so bad. I mean, and you can't even get real anything now.
Yeah. I was going to say, recycling what others leave behind, you can construct a lot of stuff. And I notice in America, a lot of people just want to give stuff away because they can't be bothered going to the tip with it. And I see so many places you drive past free to give away, and that's good stuff. Utilizing that sort of thing is far better than getting people to manufacture brand new all over again when it already exists. Now, Gracie, I've just thrown, and anybody else who wants it, I've just thrown my website link in the chat as well, if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about me. Now, part of my background, Gracie, is I've helped out on a high country station here, which is a 33,500 acre farm. Out there, you learn when something needs to be done, you have to do it with whatever is at hand. So you learn to make, manufacture, get functioning, fix, repair with whatever is on hand. And you can be a long way from any facilities. So you get very ingenious. So making stuff out of nothing, easy. Yeah.
Cool.
The other
I
thing,
have a,
this is good
Yeah.
because we're triggering each other to put this together too, as we do, because we're going to. We're a model. This is something that can be created because this is a global problem now. This is a global situation that has to be addressed. No part of the world is safe right now. So we are creating a model, what's the word, a template,
Yeah.
something we can,
Use anything.
something we can export.
Mhm.
Is that?
I
Exactly.
got some ideas. Yeah, I think this is possible. Sure. Could like make a modular,
Mhm.
do like a
Yeah.
modular template and
And just
have
share
it.
everything we've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very-
And I also love the model of like what you're saying, how like it's not been done where we're really working together, like all these
Yeah.
people that have similar vision and working together and helping each other.
Yeah.
Because that is moving away from the individualistic mindset that we have been so programmed in. And I do see it where it's like people are like, I want to like start a community and work on the land. And it's like, but they're very much like, I want to create this for myself and I exactly and not really like
We.
yeah to put it simply. So yeah, I love
Us,
that
baby.
that model is being shared as well. Like
Yes.
to show people
Yeah.
like it's actually more beneficial to like work together and yeah.
God,
Yeah.
it's so much more fun too. I mean,
Right?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fun factors and everything. If you're not having fun with it, why bother? You know,
Yeah.
this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
There's a big, there's a big step out there we've got to look at in some of this. And to me, that's the letting go of the ego. Now, to me, the ego is just the thinking brain. The thinking brain is the least effective part of our consciousness. And it's learning to come back. If usually that exercise with the 3 breaths I did, you got a slightly shortened version of it. But that second breath drops you into your awareness. The third one, for most people, will drop you into consciousness itself. Once you start learning to access those places, not just feel their rhythms, a lot more is available. We have an intelligence inside us that is far more effective than the thinking brain. We've just got to get used to going there. So, Sotum on our website and wherever else, we have a recording of the 3 breaths, both in a short version and a long version of it, also on my YouTube channel. But I believe they're on the Sotum website somewhere as well. Learning to get grounded and come from that place and be of service and only operate that way. Jim and I have been practicing this for a while. We're in regular communication, talking with each other. And we don't work from a place of who's right. We look at understanding each other. I don't think you and I, Jim, have ever talked about who's right. It's always about what's going on for you, what's it about for you. And we just work to understand. In the understanding, solution provides its own solution. It becomes obvious when you understand something, solutions are already present. Totally different to thinking brain.
I love that. And it's more about following. Also, it's like the mindset of like when we're working together, it's like you're saying, it's more fun. And I've been like, and also how you were saying, Chris, about like being more in the feeling, and it's like following the excitement, following what feels good, what feels like, versus like the mindset of like survival of the fittest, and like we need like people individualistic, like I need to do this because the world's going to shit. But like it's like cool, we get to be in community and do cool things and create things that haven't been created before. And that energy, that's the creation energy. The like
we should feel the life and vitality it comes with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the 3 breath thing. Once you get into the 3rd breath, the life and vitality it's there is phenomenal if you learn to tap into it. The other thing is I use markers like use the word happiness before, or somebody, when we follow happiness, we all seek happiness. When you get used to it and feeling it and then dropping yourself into it and you go deep, there's a moment where you switch from happiness to joy. Happiness is what we experience in time. Joy is in the moment. So if you dive deep into happiness, you suddenly pop into the moment because you're that focused and that present. And joy, once you dive into that, takes you to love. Happiness is a precursor to joy. Joy is a precursor to love. And it's learning the transition phases we already have and tapping into the consciousness of those things so we can operate from that place and hear the mother.
Well, it's time we have a board meeting tomorrow night because I'll put this on the agenda. We need to bring the rest of the board up to steam. I'm glad we're copying this because I can ship it out. We can also, as we go ahead, we can have a representative or two from our collective come into our board meetings if our nonprofit's going to be that piece of the work. So we're in total communication because I really like what Jade's saying. As I've put these together before, especially with the university, yeah, we had all kinds of partners, and I would create a partner matrix, and this one's this and this, but they were all separate. It showed on paper because it looked good to people who were funding it, but they were not really working together. We would help each other, but yeah, this needs to be more
Shared mission on a higher
shared
level.
mission. Yeah, good. Yeah,
With the individuality piece
absolutely.
on the lower, on the other basic levels,
Yes.
so everybody can still maintain their own.
Yeah, so there's that too.
Well, it seems to be the model that works.
It is. I think it is. And you're stronger that way. When I used to teach this in non-profit for Sal, some people would not want to get into the circle because they think they lose their power or no, you get more because you're still working as an individual or a separate group, but then you're also part of the whole, which gives you extra. So it's actually, 1 + 1 = 3, not the other way around.
That's the core of life. The
Yeah.
way I often describe it to people, when you're in the flow of life, it's like having a glass that's already full of water and the tap is still pouring in. That overflow from the glass is what naturally spreads to that which is around it. When we look at ourselves as whole and experience that wholeness, we naturally overflow to that which is around us. We don't have to try and do it, it's happening naturally. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, it's all about just being ourselves. That's all we're trying to do. It's so simple. It's like the most simple, easy, fun thing.
Yeah.
I added a little link for greenhouse in the snow, and
I
it's
love
like
that.
epic geothermal. And I'm always talking about this, but I've come up with some other brilliant ideas to use these as plastic reclamation facilities. And there's oyster mushrooms, and I have some in my fridge right here that we can maybe on Jade and Gracie's 8 acres, we can get some funding. You can get one of these greenhouse in the snow, and all you need to do is dig a 150-foot trench, like 6 feet down, and it's about 20 grand for the thing, and a guy with a backhoe to work for a couple days. And if we could start with their property with one of those, you can literally grow enough food for 100 people all day. The mushroom capabilities are incredible. It's I could talk about it for hours, like what you can do. And the whole plastic reclamation thing, I've been talking with some other of my mushroom growing friends in Flagstaff, and they've been doing a little bit of it, and it can work. We can actually be a plastic reclamation facility for Rimrock with this greenhouse in the snow. All you've got to do is crunch the plastic down into real fine particles and keep the oyster mushroom really happy, which you can totally do with one of these greenhouses. If we could have a prototype facility, that would be like a real big game changer, I'm sure.
I want to do a modified version on my land now because I have the time, the money, and even the frame on its way, and I have manpower. So I want to talk to you about that. Like, I don't need to do the full Nebraska greenhouse in the snow, but I have excavators that can dig down. So even though that's not that big of a space behind my house, I do have the land and I feel like it would be a good experience to do it. Because I
Yeah,
have a little window now where I could do it.
I think you could do something cool if you can if you could trench down and get the north side up and do a trench. I
Yeah.
mean, you could do a mini one with what
Do
you
a
have.
mini one.
That would be
Yeah.
cool. And then we could try some mushroom stuff there.
I
with
want to do the mushrooms too, for sure.
Yeah, and we were just talking about because you can't get good eggs anymore. You can grow the huge garden giant mushrooms
Right.
that fill up with bugs in
Yeah.
those greenhouses, and you can literally you could feed like 2 flocks of chickens. You could have a whole fish farm with one of those.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Okay.
So
Exciting.
next steps.
Meet again?
Yeah, in the
Keep
meantime,
talking.
what
The tech piece is really relevant. I think the
is,
tech
and
piece,
well, where the county went.
because we need to connect.
And my thought is, I mean, just as far as like timing wise, like Gracie and I have been talking about, because the holidays are coming up, we're both going to be traveling, and then we'll get back right before New Year's, and then we've been saying January is go time, like we'll kind of like start to work on things like our own personal projects that we're wanting to do, so that could be incorporated in it, the website piece.
You guys tell me what information you want on the internet and I can make a website out of it.
Okay.
So.
Good. And we can give you our
Awesome.
website link. Ours is pretty simple right now. I think we should all brainstorm too. What it is we're doing on our current properties, where our current organizations. And what we want to do, so we have that list. And then we can look at it collectively and see where all the links are.
Yes. Dial the mission in.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to? We probably do then. We probably want to create a vision and a mission and.
Mm-hmm.
That would be for the website for people to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It basically will be a community forum and community access point for
Mhm.
everything that we're trying to do, which is really cool. Just
And then we
everything in
can
one
hook,
place.
we can hook up with Ryan and you can chat with him. So you're,
Yeah.
and we have another guy, Robert, who was on our board. He was also, he has this big van and it's full of electronic stuff. So, and he's creating a place now down in, oh, where is he? Central America.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Yeah. Okay, so we can hook up the techie people and we can breathe again.
Yeah, that's
Why we're
that's
here, we were
That's
sent here.
right.
Just need to network.
We're all here for a reason. We all have
Right.
different skills.
that's
Perfect.
right.
And as I listen to this, and we're different generations, which is really good too.
Yeah.
Because if we were all up my age, our age,
Yeah.
whatever,
We need the
whoopee
different
do.
Or vice versa.
and different
Or
parts of
vice
the world.
versa.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
a collective.
Both ways, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. What
Good.
else? Charlie, are we getting done what you were thinking?
Yeah, this is
Moving along.
great. This is amazing, and
Dialing it in.
having that, I think having that website is just so crucial because then we can
Yeah.
have all the links and we can
Yeah.
get Anastasia, and like I wish I made more videos because I've been homesteading for like 15 years.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm not
Never
a
too
techie guy
late.
either.
Right.
Still
Now we'll
start.
start making videos.
And we
Let the
can,
world see.
we can come and interview you too,
Mm-hmm.
if that is a style you like.
Woohoo.
Whoopee.
Hmm.
Something just came, which seemed kind of important. Oh, what are we gonna call ourselves? We're gonna make a website. What the hell is it?
Yeah, I gotta have a good name.
Yeah,
Are we a collective? What are we?
Real people,
yeah,
We're real.
normal, real people.
yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna
I
focus
would-
on
Clothing line.
I would keep it one or two words.
that. What was it?
Stewards of the Earth Foundation? I don't know.
I would keep it one or two words.
Might be.
That makes sense. 1 or 2 words.
Yeah,
One or
make
two
it one or
words?
two words.
like
That's
that.
what I think. Otherwise, I think it'll just get lost in the sauce.
Okay.
Rest of the sauce.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there's like, 3,000 organizations all trying to do the same thing.
True.
We might as well. There's obviously a market here that there's like a level of networking that should be harnessed and tapped into.
Yep.
In that area, absolutely. And with that will come the proper advertising channels and the proper goods will be distributed, yada, yada.
Mhm.
So just, I think keep it simple, but make it unique.
Yeah.
Like you got Palm Springs, you got Coachella, you got Sedona,
Mhm.
you got Camp Verde, right? They're one or two words.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to point out.
Right.
No,
Good.
that's a good point. And Sedona is special. It is, if not the most well-known spiritual place in Turtle Island, it's right up there. And that gives us another,
Oh yeah.
it's why I always saw it as the first place that something was gonna grow.
Mm.
Maybe something about the soil.
I was going to say earth-based.
Yeah, the red rock.
Which
It is red.
Yeah.
It's red.
When I was
It's
calling.
red because of the iron, right? The iron content.
Yeah, something about the land.
But we don't have to come up with it right now. but-
It'll
Hey,
come.
It'll
red,
come.
red
Yeah.
Sedona.
What?
Red Sedona.
Yeah.
No, okay, I don't know. We'll think of it. We'll think of it.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
Something to think
Same
about.
here.
Something to feel into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
No, this is really good.
This is awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Charlie.
you.
Feel better.
Thank
It
you.
worked
Yeah,
out.
feel
I'm
up-
feeling
feel
I'm
up.
feeling good now.
That was like medicine, right?
Absolutely. No, the meditation was great, Christopher. Thanks a lot for
Yes.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
thank you.
And thanks for getting out of bed early, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. I can do it. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you all.
Same.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, we've got a diverse group of people here with a diverse range of talent, skills, and experiences. And that's a good founding block for starting something creative
Yeah.
and constructive.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
really appreciate you all.
Thank you, brother.
Blessings.
Appreciate you,
Now
Christopher.
get your ass up here. Oh,
You'll be here in March.
yeah.
March.
Yeah,
That's the game
that's-
plan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great. That's coming up.
In 1 year. That's interesting.
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
1 year.
Okay. Hmm. All starting at the same time. It's
Yeah.
really coincidence?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay, good. What else?
We'll touch base about the next meeting.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Good question. How often do we want to meet?
I just thought I thought January. That was
January.
like just
January.
once a month.
Do a January touch-in
Yeah.
after the holidays.
Mhm. And if
Yeah.
we can connect with each other and we'll make sure we have everybody's contact
Mid-month.
info and I'll send a list out
15 or something.
so we can.
Yeah, please share my number with everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Jade and Gracie. Yeah, I want to come check out your spot. That's super,
Please
super
do.
cool.
Likewise.
Same
Likewise.
I'm-
You got a great place in the village, but it's just a tiny little backyard. But it's,
It's
nice.
a beautiful.
We got a good raised bed.
Nice.
And I heard the two of them talk. I'm getting ready to come for dinner, so.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Have a great
Been a
day.
pleasure.
Much
Talk to you
thanks.
soon.
All right. Thank you all.
Did you come from Santa Fe?
Later, brother.
From the Chicago area. And then had a YouTube.
One of our other
Very
roommates.
synchronous.
Yeah, oh goodness. You just happened to be in town. We were. all
It's a
supposed to-
whole. I
yeah.
drove my RV from